Hello, everyone. It's me, Ari Dosset, or as you already may know me, Rashid. I believe I didn't do a live stream within a week. I was a bit occupied around here. There were also a few spiritual attacks here and there, but hey, it's all over now. Praise the Lord. Happy Shabbat to all of you here. I see Ismir is in the live chat. Suzanne is here. Danielle is here. Life's Fun is here also. Welcome here, Life's Fun. If the rest can report themselves in the live chat, also that'd be very great. But okay, I'm not going to linger too much. Let's go right into the topic. The title of this live stream is Inverted Therapy. Now, when you invert something, you turn it inside out or upside down. That's inversion. Now, what is therapy? In therapy, in therapy, you look for a way to resolve some traumatic thing that happened to you. You have group therapy, you have individual therapy, you have various types of therapy, but in all therapy, one thing is central. You address something that happened in the past that should have never happened. So, because you address something in the past that should have never happened, you are relating to the consequences of the same thing that should have happened, but did happen. That's therapy. In therapy, you work towards a resolution and a solution to stop the bad thing that happened from having a negative impact on you. So that's how it goes in therapy. Now, I'm not saying I'm endorsing all types of therapy. No, there are various therapies out there. Some are more effective in some cases. For example, a child that goes to therapy has to go through another type of therapy than an adult. And someone that has to process a divorce is different than someone who has to process a civil war. So the type of therapy you take, you need to talk about that with your mental health professional, and they can work it out with you. So I'm not going into the content of therapy here, just to point out what therapy is and how therapy is used on a sociological level. But I need to explain another thing to you, and that's what this live stream is about. There is this method used by the paranormal that I call invert therapy. Because remember, in therapy, it's all about finding a solution, a resolution to prevent the bad historical thing from affecting you in a negative way. Satan does it the opposite way. Satan puts you, or now actually, it doesn't put you directly because it doesn't have power over you. But Satan puts other people around you that he has a grip upon to lure you into ruin. Let me give an explanation how this goes. Let's say you're at the bus stop or the railway station, but let's say the bus stop, okay? You're waiting for the bus, and there's this elder lady comes and sits next to you, and she's quite stressed out. You can feel her being stressed out, even when she doesn't talk to you. Then you sit on the bus, and there's this guy looking very sad, staring in front of him, just like that. Then you enter the mall where you want to be, and everywhere you go, there's some individual looking sad all the time, staring in front of them, obsessively. Now, what happens here? You've been exposed to sadness over and over again throughout the day. So your mind picks this up, and your mind develops an attachment to what you've been exposed to. Because that's one thing about the human mind. We get attached to what we are exposed to. You can never be attached to something you were never exposed to. If you never knew Mexican food existed, you cannot develop an attachment to Mexican food. Because you have to know something exists, you have to be exposed to it over and over again for you to develop an attachment to it. Now, attachment in itself is nothing wrong with it. When attachment becomes a burden, now there's an issue. Now look, let's go back to the example. So you counted all those sad people that day. Now, the following day, a similar thing happens. You don't take the bus now, but you take a taxi. And the taxi driver looks sad. So you begin to realize, you begin to think, why do I keep counting so many sad people? So then you realize, well, then before you know it, you develop sadness inside of you. And people around you will notice, why is he so sad? Why is she so sad? And before you know it, you realize, hold on a minute, why do I listening to sad songs all the time? Or why do I love looking at sad movies? You may realize, what is this climate of sadness that I'm in right now? But let me tell you, that climate of sadness is something you've been tricked in by the paranormal. Satan pushed people around you that were sad. And those people had a sad impact on you. Now, those people are not aware that we're demons using them. They're not aware of it at all. So they, on their part, they're innocent when it comes to the what the demons were doing. Now, they're not innocent to other areas in their life, but they're innocent when it comes to you because demons use them. Demons use their sadness to provoke sadness in your mind. And now, after several days being exposed to all the sadness, you develop sadness in your own mind, unaware to yourself. That's how the human mind works. If you expose something over and over again, you'll develop an attachment to that same thing, whether good or bad. So Satan wants to put people around you to keep you sad. Satan wants to put people around you to keep you in ruin. Satan wants to keep people around you to keep you in harm's way. So in therapy, you remove yourself from toxic people and you go to a therapist, and together with the therapist, you process what happens. That's how actual therapy works. But Satan's form of therapy, which is inverted therapy, works the other way around. Satan puts damaged and defective people around you over and over again just to trick the effectiveness in you. Has any of you did this happen to any of you before? Let me know in the live chat, please. Thank you very much. Let me know in the live chat. Did this happen to you before, what I've just explained? This thing here is so common, people don't even notice it when it's happening. Now, don't get things wrong. If there are a lot of sad people around you, you will encounter sad people, especially if a tragedy happened in the neighborhood. If a tragedy happened in the neighborhood, a lot of people are sad, of course you're going to encounter sad people, okay? Or if there was a natural disaster that afflicted most of the people in the country, of course you can encounter other sad people, lost relatives, okay? But if there is no immediate tragedy that happened around you, and you keep encountering sad people, or angry people, or desperate people, those people are not there by chance. You didn't just run into them. Demons push them around you. Maybe you have this guy who's addicted to porn, and he's going through a divorce right now. And he is very angry and sad at the same time. Now, this guy may be sitting on a bench near the supermarket, and you walk by. You're going towards the bus station. Out of the blue, demons will send a telepathic message to that man's brain, and he develops this desire to walk to the bus stop. He doesn't want to take the bus. He doesn't even have money for the bus, but he just walks to the bus stop out of the blue. He doesn't even know why. And then you're there. And because he's there now, you are exposed to his anger and sadness. So that's how it goes. So that guy was not stalking you. He's not even aware you're there. It's demons pulling him towards you just that you're exposed to his bad condition. And here's the trap. Those churches taught us that we have to reach out to people and minister to people in need, which is true. However, what those churches don't tell you is that sometimes Satan will overwhelm you with defective people, not because Satan wants to develop your character and so that you can minister onto them. Satan is doing this because Satan wants to drain you. And those people that Satan will put around you, Satan knows that most of them are not even interested in solutions. So Satan will overwhelm you with defective people who don't want to look for solutions, so that you are tricked into thinking I need to look after these people and you end up being drained. No, it's true that we have to look after our own, and especially we have to look after the people in need around us. That is true. There's nothing wrong with that. However, the context is the people around you that are defective, they must be willing to face their defectiveness and they must be willing to be better. Okay? So, for example, Dixon is saying here something about her mother. I'm sorry if you're a male, please correct me. But based on the silhouette of your profile picture, I assume you're a female. I haven't been on the live stream for a while, so forgive me. But Dixon's complaining that her mother is like having a black hole. Like she's always complaining, complaining, and complaining all the time. Now think about it. Complaining is natural. When things go wrong or when things are out of line, you should complain. But the complaining should be complaining should be a motivational factor to move you into constructive action. Complaints should be motivators for constructive action to get something good out of it. But if complaining is just that complaining, it becomes dumping. And people that keep dumping and dumping for years, never look at solutions, they are very toxic to be around. Satan wants you to have sympathy and empathy for such people. Why? Because Satan knows those people are going to drain you and make you sick. Now, don't get things twisted. We should have empathy and sympathy for other people. We should. That's natural and healthy. However, Christ gave us firm instructions. He told us when people won't receive your good news, shake the dust off your feet and move on. And Christ even told us in the book of Revelations, through John the Revelator, even told us, let the filthy be filthy still. That's what he said. So when people invest in filth, let them remain filthy. Let them remain filthy. That does not mean that you are a narcissistic asshole or a narcissistic bitch for not reaching out. Look, people should want to reach out to themselves. You get me? It shouldn't be that other people are concerned about you, but you're not concerned with yourself. You should be concerned with yourself. That's natural, that's healthy. Okay? Some people are not concerned, not even with them about themselves. They just want the sympathy from others to feel good about themselves. So they're actually leeching off of the sympathy and they're leeching off of the good attention from other people. And that's very dangerous. Because they're not even concerned with themselves. So, when you're dealing with people who are not even concerned with themselves, you can pray for them. You can talk to them on the phone once in a while if you want. Just pray for them at a distance and keep them at arm's length. I'm telling you, keep them at arm's length. Look, there are two traps Satan wants you to fall in. You have the narcissistic trap, in which you develop an empathy deficit, in which you become defective and empty towards others. Some people become so self-protective that they become narcissistic. Satan wants you to be so afraid of being hurt that you become narcissistic towards other people. This is what Satan wants. And if Satan can't trick you into becoming narcissistic, then Satan will trick you into being drained and how do I say, vampirized by dangerous folks. Those are two traps Satan wants to use on you. One trap is to trick you into a narcissistic attitude because you're so afraid of being hurt. You become a loner, avoiding all other people. That's one trap of Satan. The other trap is to get you so involved with other people that they drain you and kill you with the draining attitude. So both are traps of the enemy. So you must avoid both. So how do we avoid both of those traps? It's very simple. You examine the folks you have around you. And if you notice that you keep encountering defective people over and over again, begin to realize that it may be a satanic trap. Doesn't have to be, but it may be a satanic trap. Now, look, if you're in a mental asylum, of course you're going to see a lot of defective people. So if you keep encountering defective people over and over again in a mental asylum, well, that's not a satanic trick. It simply means you are in a mental asylum. Okay? For example, you don't go to China and you're not going to be amazed when you keep seeing Chinese people in China. You're not going to Nigeria and be amazed to see so many black people around. Of course not. So you have to check your environment. If you keep encountering people in a bad condition over and over again, and there is no context that justifies you encountering them, now you know it's a satanic trap. Okay? Yes, we live in a fallen world, so you can't expect everyone to be in a delivered state. Of course not. But even worldlings in a fallen state can have the attitude, I want to be better. Satan will never put you around people who want better. Satan will always put people around you who are not interested in themselves. Because those are the people that will leech off of you. Someone that wants better for themselves, they have self-worth. And because they have self-worth, that self-worth motivates them to want to become better. Satan will never force people around you that want better. He will only force people around you who just want to escape. Because the one that wants better will eventually learn from you. The one that just wants to escape, well, that's it. They just want to escape. So, this inverted therapy that Satan uses on people is extremely important for you to notice this on time. Maybe you have this, maybe someone close to you, like an aunt of yours, that calls you from time to time. But you notice that every time she calls you, you're tired for like a half hour afterwards. And it's only when she calls you. But A, it's your aunt. Your aunt is not asking for money. She's not talking about all types of miserable stuff. So you think, hey, it's just my aunt. Let's say you stop calling, you stop taking phone calls from your aunt for a moment. What's going to happen? Before you know it, you have people at work looking sad or looking angry, look for sympathy from you. So this is what happened. The open door to drain you, namely your aunt, has been shut, as that open door is shut down because you don't take her phone calls anymore. So now the demons will desperately look for someone else to work through. Now look, Eddie Johnson, if uh, if his wife is making progress and she's willing to move forward, then that's good. That's what matters. And if they're believers, it means that there's a strength of the Spirit available to them. If he's with her and there's no improvement whatsoever, then you should ask yourself, why is he with her? And that's where I want to go now in this live stream. Let's say you have a couple, okay? And the wife keeps complaining all the time. The wife's always sad of that. Let's say 2 years passed and the wife is still the same way. Ask yourself, why is this man still with this woman? Why is he still with her? Can't he see that she is a curse unto him? Or let's turn the other way around. Let's say you have a husband who's always moody and angry and drinking all the time. And 2 years have passed and he's still the same. Why is that woman still with him? So that's another thing one should pay attention to. When you have those, when you have those people who are defective for more than 2 years, if someone is defective for more than 2 years, now don't get things twisted. Some people can be defective for decades if they don't get any help. But if someone is defective for more than 2 years, despite being around people that are ministering onto them, if someone is defective for more than 2 years, despite being around ministries or people that minister to them, then ask yourself, why do people keep ministering onto them? Ask yourself that. Because look, if 2 years pass by after ministering to someone intensively, I'm not talking about giving a motivational speech once in a while. I'm talking about intensive ministry to them. If someone after 2 years of intensive ministry still does not improve, then it means you're dealing with a narcissistic individual who just wants to flee. That individual is just taking advantage of your efforts. Now, either you're not aware of this, due to lack of knowledge. That means that's the error with you, that you lack knowledge, and because you lack knowledge, you didn't realize this. Or, or you have issues yourself that aren't resolved, and because of that, you are trauma bonded to this individual you're ministering to. And that's why strangers can be a big blessing to you. Look, let's say you have a parent, let's say your mother, and your mother is bitching, complaining, and murmuring all the time, and you sent her to a therapist, you gave her Bible verses, you gave her YouTube channels to watch, you do all of that for your mom, but you still complain, keep bitching, complaining, and all of that. Let's say an outsider comes. Let's say you have a distant cousin who just comes. The distant cousin doesn't know your mother nor you, but he's a distant cousin. This distant relative meets you. You guys have fellowship with one another, and then he meets your mother, and he sees the dynamic between the two of you. And then this distant cousin thinks, hold on a minute, this woman is quite toxic. This woman doesn't want solutions. She just wants a punching bag to punch. And then this relative is going to think, what's wrong with this guy or this grown man or grown woman that they put up with their own parents, treat them like this? And then the distant customer realizes, you have traumas that aren't processed. You get me? So what I'm saying is there are times strangers will see much better what's going on than you do. Because when you are in a situation, you don't see everything about the situation because you're in it. That's obvious. Sometimes it's when you become an outsider to your own situation, after years you realize what was going on. And I can tell you right now, there are people out there who remain with those narcissistic fleers because of lack of knowledge or because they have issues themselves they are hiding. Just think about it. Let's say you have a couple, okay, a married couple. The husband is drinking and screaming all the time. He's often arrested by the police. The wife has children with him, and the children are screamed at also. So now he also begins to harm the children. Why does this woman stay married to him? Why doesn't she file for divorce? Because after years, he still doesn't want to face himself, look for solutions. I'm telling you why. She is lacking in self-worth, and because of that, she wants to get the approval of society of being this married woman. She relies on the approval of the crowd. So that's why she plays the victim just to get approval from the crowd. So in this case, she is the one that keeps the dangerous situation going, because if she would walk away from the situation and take her children with her, nobody will come after her because she has proof that the man is out of line. But she keeps the dangerous situation alive because she wants approval from the local community. So when people remain around defective folks for a long period of time, there is something off with them also. I'm not talking about when you are a licensed therapist or licensed psychologist or certificate psychologist, and that's your job to deal with such people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if in daily life you see someone investing in someone who never moves forward. Why would you keep investing in something that doesn't work or that doesn't work out? Some people keep investing in narcissistic folks around them because they're so emotionally invested in their identity. Their identity is that they are good Christian people or good folks that help others. So they rely on this identity for their self-worth. And look at this. Even a psychopath will come by and think, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your good qualities on an individual who's not interested in becoming better? Are you out of your mind? Even a psychopath can see that, thinking, what's going on here? Even a psychopath will be turned off when seeing such a situation. Look, it's one thing to want to reach out to other people and have empathy. That's praiseworthy. I praise that. But it's another thing to remain stuck with someone who doesn't want solutions. You should never end up stuck with someone who doesn't want solutions. Look, either you lack knowledge and because of that you're quite naive, either that's the case, or you are avoiding something in your own life that you need to face. It's one to two. It's one of the two. Have you ever saw people like that? They're so clingy onto people. who don't want solutions. It doesn't have to be a wife. It can also be a parent. It can also be someone around them that they're so clinging onto that they should have let go. Have you ever experienced this? Let me know in the live chat. Let me see. So understand, such people are enablers because they enable a bad situation, but they're not enablers from a wrong motive. They're not bad people. They're just trauma bonded. And this is one thing you need to understand. When you are trauma bonded, you are an enabler unaware. A lot of people are enablers and not even realizing it. At some when you're trauma bonded, you end up as enabler, but you're not even aware you are an enabler. Enabler of bad stuff. You can enable good things and you can enable bad things. When you are an enabler of something bad, often you're not aware of it yourself. No, you're not. You're not aware of it. And that's why the outside perspective of other people can be so valuable. So sometimes it's not the narcissistic individual that you really need to pay attention to, but it's the enablers when we're not even aware they are enabling. And I'm telling you, a lot of folks are enablers unaware. So maybe it is that your parents never appreciated you while growing up. Your parents were often angry at you and complaining about you. So you grew up feeling bad and guilty because your parents were complaining all the time. Now, that your parents were complaining all the time, that's their fault. They were adults. They should be looking for solutions instead of dumping on you, on their children. So you grew up feeling guilty. And now when you help out other people, that feeling of guilt kind of goes away. So you are addicted with helping other people just to get rid of that guilt that your parents put on you. So that may be the issue. That may be the issue. Or it can be that you feel like you're failing in life. And that's why you want to reach out to people around you just so that you can convince yourself that you're not failing. Whatever the issue is with you, or whatever the issue is with the enabler, figure it out. Figure it out. For example, if you escaped a marriage from a narcissistic husband, stop complaining and be angry with how bad your ex-husband was or your ex-boyfriend. Think about yourself. Why did you put up with that for so long? Or if your parents were always cursing you out with expecting bad things about you, why did it take so long in your adult life to realize how toxic your parents were? I'm telling you, I'm not saying this to accuse you. I'm saying this to help you out. If you have wounds or you have some issue that's not resolved, make sure that thing's resolved first. Because once you are made whole, it's very easy to shut down bad stuff around you once you're whole. But if you're wounded yourself, it'll be very hard to shut down bad stuff around you. Don't be so focused on the external situation that you forget about your own internal well-being. Your internal well-being is far more important. Too many people are so obsessed with the external situation. And I'm telling you, don't be so obsessed with want to change the external situation. Maybe you're not helping other people out. Maybe it's just a circumstance in your life that keep getting worse, whether it's financial situations or situations at work or in family. So you think, okay, I'm not being drained by bad people, or why do the circumstances remain this way? It's the same thing. If demons can't find other people to work through, they will use circumstances. Now, using circumstances is not that effective, but it still can have an effect on you. So don't be so obsessed with wanting to improve the external circumstance. Sometimes the external circumstance isn't even that important. What's more important is you, that you become better and that you improve. That's why often it happens that believers are praying and fasting, but the situation doesn't get any better. But what the believer doesn't realize is while they're praying and fasting, they are becoming better. And by them becoming better, eventually the bad situation will lose its strength over them and the bad situation will dissolve. And that is another reason why I do not endorse the paranormal. Because with the paranormal, you will get your relief from the bad situation, but you are not becoming better. With the Holy Spirit, you become better. And because you become better, the bad situation dissolves eventually. You get me? So that's why walking by faith is the only right way to improve and to be free. Let me see. You need to become better. Yes, the situation is there. I'm not saying ignore the circumstances because that's not wise. I'm not saying go in denial. No, you have to pay attention to your surroundings, including the circumstances, but don't be focused to the point of obsession with external circumstances. You have to look at you. And this is something a lot of people go through. A lot of people go to therapists and they are talking about what they call their problems, talk about the situation. And after going to the therapist, sometimes realize, hold on a minute, it was me. I lacked self worth. I was wounded. I was neglected. There was something done to me, or there was something withheld from me that caused me to be in a bad condition. Even if the bad condition was not my fault, it is up to me now to look for healing. So now you realize, okay, so I shouldn't be so distracted by the circumstances. I should be focused on my own long-term well-being for the long run. So therapy is not going to fix anything for you. Therapy will just enable you to get a better perspective of what's going on. So, one warning, when you notice you keep encountering defective people over and over again, and it just won't stop, if it doesn't trigger you to become a better believer, then it's sent by Satan to train you. As simple as that. That's how simple it is. So, always look at the symptoms. Too often people don't look at the symptoms and they end up walking right into a trap, or they end up walking right into an explosive situation. Pay attention to the symptoms. And right now, I can show something on my camera. Hold on, from my whiteboard, just to give better to illustrate this better to you. Wait, let me open the curtains so there'll be more light in this living room. Hold on. Just wait. Can you see the whiteboard? Let me know in the live chat. Can you see the whiteboard? All right. So let me explain what you see in front of you. Okay. Let's say this is you. Okay. This is your energy field, clear as the blue sky, a healthy energy field. Okay. This is someone with an intoxicated, negative, intoxicated, wounded energy field filled with waste. You can see the waste. The energy is completely fractured and filled with waste over there. Okay. When you two come, when at the distance, you can feel in the radar that there's this contention around. You get me? You know who it is. Maybe you are in the library reading a book, and suddenly you feel very uncomfortable. You look around you, you don't know what's going on. But it can be that there is this uh, wife of some guy just cheated on him, and she's stressed out walking around. You can feel that, for example. Or maybe you're at the bus station, and suddenly you feel very uncomfortable. You feel like you're about to throw up, and then you look across the street, and you have this child predator lurking around. So you can pick up bad stuff around you. Okay, so you will pick up this contention here. At the other hand, this individual will also pick up your piece around. Okay, so the inner radar works. Now, if this individual has bad intentions towards you, and they come closer they come to you, the more their own waste is going to burn on them. So it's going to be the waste in the energy field is going to burn on them, and they're going to feel it physically when they get too close to you. That's why they kind of want to stay away from you, because if they get too close to you, they're going to feel burnt. And it is as if their body is literally on fire while it's not. They're going to feel burnt when they get too close to you with their waste. That's why they want to stay away from you. Now, so if they meditate connected towards you, it will wound you a little bit. But if you are operating in a Christ-centered way, it will stay like that. If there's a whole group negatively charged meditating against you, they will send shocks toward Earth's atmosphere, and eventually, when it reaches you, it wounds you. There's a psychic attack right over there. Your energy field is wounded and pierced by a psychic bomb that fell on it. Now, let's say now that someone is wounded. They're not negative, they're not negatively polluted like this, but they're extremely wounded in the energy fields. Then that's the case. In that case, the psychic attacks completely destroy you. Or in that case, anyone with bad intention can easily come to you and harm you easily, also on a physical level. But if you are walking by faith in a proper way, or if you, I would say, when you keep your mind on the positive and you keep decreeing and declaring and fasting, doing all of that, what's going to happen? The psychic attacks or the negative contentions may escalate against you, but it will crash on your energy field. Now, you will feel this crash on your energy field physically, you will feel it, but it doesn't get through you and pollute you on the inside. Now, let's look at this illustration over here. Okay, let me sit down. Let's say this is you. Let's say this is a high-ranking warlock or wizard. This is their energy field, and you have a thick layer of negativity around them, which is their charm. Okay? And they're using this charm to dominate other people. If such an individual comes to you and you're like this, it will not work. Because in that case, the tension that they send towards you to have a grip on you will stay on the outside. Okay? But if you develop doubt or sorrow, whatever, on the inside of you, you are actually wounding your own energy field, and then they can easily take advantage of you. So whether someone is a high-ranking occultist, like here, or they're just a common individual that's negatively charged, as long as you don't have pollution inside your own energy field, everything they do will crash on you. It may affect the circumstances around you, but it won't come to you directly. But if you have any pollution inside of yourself, then any individual that's negatively charged, whether they are a high-ranking occultist or just a common negatively charged individual out there, you're easily hurt, easily wounded. Okay? Now go to this illustration. Okay? This is you. This is a big wall in front of you. And here you have gold, silver, riches, all type of treasures. Okay. If you want to go from here to there is a obstacle, this negative climate over here that hinders you. What do? You either climb over it, but climbing over it, this is a very thick layer of negativity, so that will be dangerous. So what you do is you attack the negativity with prayers, decrees, and declarations, sending peace out of you, do all this, and you slowly but slowly attack it. And the more you attack it, the more it begins to dissolve, and before you know it, the obstacle is finished, it crashes, and you can just walk through. That's how it goes. But if you only send energetic missiles on the obstacle once every Sunday or once in a while, then the wall will remain. So just pay attention to that. All right, let me close down the camera. So you see now how important it is to remain Christ-centered in your thinking. And look at this. There are pagans out there, they don't have Christ, don't have the Holy Spirit, but they manage to survive a lot of violence in the world because they make sure that their energy field is relatively healthy. You get me? They do. But then you have believers who are polluted by false teaching every Sunday, and they don't even pay attention to it. Look, just like what I just displayed um, on the, I would say, on the whiteboard over there, just like what I displayed over there, realize that you and the health of your energy field is far more important than external circumstance. Yes, you shouldn't ignore the external circumstance. We're not dumb, okay? Just understand it's not about external circumstance. You have to be crystal clear blue, like daylight. You have to be positively charged energetically. That's what it's about. All right. So, one question: do you understand now why Satan wants to put those defective, negative charged people around you over and over again? Do you understand the strategy? And do you understand now how to bypass that strategy? If you know all of that, let me know in the live chat right now. Let me know. So, this is quite important to understand. Once you understand this, you're much ahead in life. That's why you can have people in the streets, they're not selling drugs, but they just hang around drug dealers all the time, and they're never the target of conflicts in the streets. Now, I'm not recommending you to be in the streets, especially not around people who do criminal activity. I don't recommend that. But in the hoods, in ghettos, you have those unbelievers who are in the street all the time without any gun, and they're never kidnapped, they're never robbed, nothing bad happens to them because they know how energy fields work and know how the spirit world operates. Okay, and then you have people they go to church every Sunday. They have zero knowledge of the spirit world, and they end up being robbed, or they end up being physically or sexually assaulted. Why? Because they don't know how the spirit world works. So it's very important to understand these things. That's why I'm illustrating them to you. Okay, that was the class for today. You can ask your questions now related to this topic. So if you have questions relating to the topic, please ask the questions right now, because I'm here for you. Hmm. Mhm. If there are no questions within a minute, I'll just close the live stream then, but I'll give you 1 more minute to ask questions. And by the way, don't forget to join the Google Photo album where you can fellowship one another. I see people already fellowshipping over there, which is good. I'm happy with that. There are no trolls over there, so I'm happy with that also. So don't forget to join the Google Photos album. Oh, Suzanne has a question over here. Suzanne asks, "Are the homeless people are smarter?" Well, the thing is, homeless people, they have no choice but to be smart and to notice things spiritually, because they're extremely vulnerable because of their position. So often the homeless people develop better spiritual discernment than people that have been going easy for them. Ismail asks how does it feel to be 30 years. It doesn't feel any way special. It feels the same as if I was 19 or 24 or 17. There's no change happening to me. The one thing I noticed that changed was I I sensed that a lot of resistance from far just dropped on the 17th of August, just like that. It was as if there was some type of witchcraft or black magic pact made to get me killed before age 30, and it failed. Well, anyway, it failed anyway, and I turned 30 in a prosperous setting, in a prosperous condition. Praise the Lord. All right. Okay, I don't get any more questions here. Thanks for being here in the class. I'll talk to you next time, next live stream. Agree with Christ and be at peace, y'all.